Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Friday, May 9th, 2025. I, of course, am with Hammer Solutions, which includes Rate Sensei, where we tell you all about what's going on with mortgage rates and pricing. Today is your daily mortgage rate update with me, which I do every day during the week, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Facebook and YouTube. I think I'm going to start looking on Instagram next week, maybe some TikTok. We're going to start playing around with that. So anyway, check us out. If you would like to join me live each and every day, if you want a quick reminder that I'm going live, you can go ahead and sign up at hmmr.io/reminder or use this cool QR code over here. Today, we're going to be talking about what's going on with the talks with China. We're going to talk about what happened yesterday with mortgage-backed securities and why we saw so many reprices worse. We'll also go into some details about what we could wake up to on Monday. We got CPI inflation data coming on Tuesday. So there's quite a few fun things to talk about today. I hope you're ready to join me and have some fun in that conversation. If you're here this morning, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. We want to mess around with the algorithm. I need your help spreading the word. So if you're on Facebook, don't forget to smash that like button. Maybe tag an LO friend. If you're on YouTube, it's very important that you click that thumbs up somewhere on there. If you're on your phone, there's a little thumbs up. If you're on your computer, how many of you on YouTube? Mike Brown, Randy Teakle, Angela Walters, Mark Clark, James Mahan. All of you, good morning, by the way. I noticed you're on YouTube. Do you guys watch on your phones or on your computer? I'm very curious. Please let me know. I'm thinking phones are probably, I have to look and see if the analytics show me what kind of devices y'all are on. So anyway, enough with the babbling and the abbling. Of course, again, just to reiterate, we'll be talking about what's going on this morning with all that good stuff. So welcome to all of my live friends this morning. Christy Reeser, Chris Dickerson, Rob Stewart. Good morning, y'all. And do me a favor, all of you. Quick question of the day today. Do you watch the show on a computer or your phone? I'm sure I could probably look at the analytics, but computer or your phone? Where do you watch me each morning? So many of you watch on a regular basis. So do me a favor and throw that on there. Appreciate you, letting me know those. Mike Tebow, good to see you, sir. Mallory Fotiadis. Yeah, I'm a TGIF today myself. I'm definitely appreciating that today is Friday. So, all right. Well, in the meantime, while y'all are telling me all about that, let's go ahead and jump into the deep stuff. Mahan said on his computer, usually multitask while listening to me. I don't blame you, Mahan. I can't listen to me without doing something else either. So, hey, anyway, let's check this out. This morning, mortgage-backed securities are up 3 basis points to start the day. A whopping 3 basis points, but that's a mini victory because we actually started the day off negative. We got to go ahead and talk about what happened yesterday and things like that. So let me pull up my captions. We'll get into the good stuff here. And we'll talk about that. So recap of yesterday, you see it here. Let me make it full screen so it's nice and big. And you'll take a look here. So anything in front of this dotted line is what happened yesterday. You could see here that when pricing came out, we did the video. I mean, things were looking fantastic, right? We were around 99.50. They turned a little bit, but not much. As pricing came out, we were down to about 99.44. So that put us from the day before, we were down a little bit on the day. We ended after the Fed meeting, ended around 99.55. And I'm going to come over and just kind of jump around today and show you on Wednesday, that 99.55. Take a look right here at this candlestick and you can see the line. See how it intersects with the red line? And in fact, let's go ahead and we'll put this on 1 month so you can really see it clear. You could see here this candlestick. Excuse me. We intersected with the 100-day moving average. And this was a technical, the 50-day moving average, the red one. This is a technical resistance level. We want to see these candlesticks move higher. We want the price of mortgage bonds to move higher. That's better for your rate sheets. Consider that better rebate pricing, right? And we ended after the Fed meeting, we ended the day testing that 50-day moving average. The next day, we fell below it. And yesterday, we ended the day right at that 100-day moving average, this green line that you see right here. Now, again, taking a look here, On the line chart, if we kind of go a little bit deeper here, you could see we just kind of lost ground through the day. And arguably, there really was no clear reason on why we saw things move the way that they did. And which kind of course, makes that more frustrating when that was the situation, when we were not really, there's no clear reason, right? Reprice risk on the day was low yesterday. We did a 30-year auction, but that didn't do it. What happened, though, is selling triggers selling. And this is kind of what we call the avalanche effect or a snowball effect. A snowball rolling down the hill builds up steam and builds up steam and keeps going and keeps going. We had a little bit of improvement to end the day yesterday, but not much. Today, we started the day similar to where we ended yesterday, right down in that same range there. Once again, testing this 100-day moving average, the screen line at 99.11. But since then, we have since recovered a little bit, as you see here, and I'll pull this over. Let's do that, right? So you can see here that we've actually recovered a little bit this morning. Not likely to improve too much from here, but we could see some more improvement. Rate sheets today are going to be similar to where we started the week. If we take a look here and use Mortgage News Daily as a reference point, hold on, I'll get it so that you guys can see what I'm seeing. There we go. All right. So using Mortgage News Daily as a reference point, we're probably right around that 6.9 area, which is where we were on Monday, 6.9. We saw some improvement on Tuesday, a little more improvement after the Fed meeting on Wednesday. But, I mean, we're talking very small movements here. Rates are really not moving. Rates have been very stable. Good headlines for rates with consumers when it comes to all this stuff. And so we're seeing rate sheets today similar to where we began the week. We could see bonds continue to improve on the day. Like I said, we're up about 3 basis points right now. But even if we do, it's not likely that you'll see many reprices better. A couple of the lenders that price very, very quickly, Provident, UWM falls into that camp these days. But overall, it's unlikely that we see much improvement in pricing today. Reprice risk on the day is moderate, though, because we could see things on Friday afternoons sometimes start to drift lower. And lenders will be quick to reprice worse. But of course, what's going to get most of the attention this week is today and this weekend is the talks that are set up to start tomorrow with China. And I'm looking to see if there was the headline that kind of had that in there. So talks tomorrow, supposed to start with China in Switzerland. These are trade talks. Now, it's unlikely that this is going to be bad for rates. It's possible. So depending on how today goes, you may want to lock up anything closing near term if it's risk averse. But loans that have time, I mean, unless it's closing in the next couple of weeks, I definitely would not be locking anything today, because if things don't go well, we'll see a negative reaction, but it's only a short-term negative reaction, and we're only kicking the can down the road. Unless we saw something like really, really crazy where trade talks just totally blew up and there was, no expectation of coming back for a while. That's the only way we're going to see rates really get beaten down. But otherwise, we're seeing the talks today, and I think this is just posturing. Markets probably think the same thing, right? So President Trump floating an 80% tariff on China ahead of negotiations. Remember, right now we have a 145% tariff on China. Aluminum and steel, I think, are at 75% still. So 80% tariff on China seems right up. Seems right. Up to Scott B., Trump said in a social media post Friday morning, referring to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Again, love him or hate him, he's definitely king of manipulation. And this is just a great way for Trump to throw it out there and kind of give Secretary Scott Bessent a little more credibility in the conversations, because Trump will not be at the trade talks. But we will also see something where Trump will say that any deal has to go through him, and he's going to. But for now, this is enough to give everything going. And I think that 80% number is nonsense. I don't think Trump really believes that we need an 80% tariff. I think that that's something that he's throwing out there as a. I didn't mean to click that. I don't care about Truth Social. That's something he's throwing out there as kind of a negotiating tactic, and they're going to look to to improve more. China should open up its market to the U.S. This is a deeper conversation, but true. So what would happen if we did see positive movement in these trade talks this weekend? It's highly unlikely that we see a finished deal. I don't think markets are going to really expect a finished deal. But if we do see some positive movement in these trade talks, that's going to help, ease pressure on the 10-year Treasury yield. 10-year Treasury yield right now at 4.36. Remember that it was at one point, we were down into the threes for 5 minutes, but we still ended the day right at 4. That was only a little over a month ago, a month and a couple of days. So right as these tariffs came off, right before the tariffs, we were around 4.16. And then they improved a little bit. Right now, we're a little bit worse than that. 10-year Treasury yield is a little bit higher. We've got some technical support at the green line, 100-day moving average. Remember, the yield is inverse of mortgage bond pricing. So we want the yield to go down, not up. But right now, we've got some support here, and then the resistance would be breaking through the red line and the blue line, which is the 25-day moving average. The red line is the 50-day moving average. We want to see it break below there. So we'll see where things go this weekend, but I think that we got a pretty good shot at it. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Do you think that we'll wake up Monday and we'll hear headlines about how, something happened with a trade situation, that things will improve from there? It's really, that's what it is. Tariff rollback, hopes rising. So again, yesterday, just to clear, yesterday saw mortgage bonds go up 50 bips, and it was not because of the UK trade situation. Stocks did rally, but then they lost a little bit of steam. I think it was just one of those trading days that it's very hard to point out why. But the momentum built, it triggered other momentum, and it was negative. So, but now it's Friday. Today, you'll have a quick overview of what's happening in global markets, offer some weekend reading suggestions away from the headlines. Behind closed doors, Chinese officials have grown increasingly alarmed about the U.S. tariffs' impact on their economy and the risk of isolation as China's trading partners have started negotiating deals with Washington. From his first moments to the balcony of St. That's the Pope stuff. I had to ask ChatGPT about why the Pope picks a new name. I didn't know that. I'm not Catholic. So, U.S. President Donald Trump, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Thursday announced a limited bilateral trade agreement that leaves in place Trump's 10% tariffs on British exports, modestly expands agricultural access for both countries, lowers prohibitive U.S. duties on British car exports. So we'll see where all this goes. But again, even that, a 10% trade duty, really not a huge deal and not something that markets are going to overreact to. So, but Mike Morano said, first UK tariff agreement certainly should help calm market fears. Yeah, it should. And it has, but at the same point, we saw bonds lose ground, and arguably, the uncertainty should be good for bonds. And also remember, the expectation, we've got kind of two competing things going on here. If markets do well, it's less likely that the Fed will have to lower the Fed funds rate because the economy will still be doing well. However, we won't see inflation, and inflation's a bigger enemy. So we're going to get a reading next week. I'll go into it more on Monday, but the expectation for next week is that CPI will continue to work its way down, and that'll be April data, which will start to include some of the tariffs. But as we've talked about before, they're really not making it to retail shelves yet. So consumers not necessarily feeling the tariffs. Businesses are feeling the tariffs, as I talked about the last couple of days. I've talked to other business owners, and they're definitely feeling the tariffs, but the consumers have not yet. And that's why we might see a blip up. But that will come with the May data. People are starting to see prices rise now. Ford talked about raising the price of cars in Mexico. $2,000 sticker price increase, MSRP on cars made in Mexico. That's like the Mustang E, the Bronco Sport, I think are the ones that are made in Mexico still. So we'll see some of that. But expectations, 2 Fed rate cuts, 3 Fed rate cuts, and that's different. That's a little bit different. Just a week ago, it was a 28% expectation that we would see rates almost to a full point. And that's dropped down now. And now, a week ago, there was only a 20% expectation that we would see 2 Fed rate cuts, and now that's up to about 30%. So we are seeing some change to that as well. Mike said the Pope's name change, a century-old tradition. The Nuno picks a name in honor of his favorite Pope or saint. Yeah, I was reading up on that, so I find it interesting. Again, I mean, I'm not throwing shade. I just don't know anything about it because it's not my gig. But I was like, why does he change his name? But then I get it. I think it's cool. So anyway, y'all, let me know, what are you guys doing this weekend? I am going to be doing some I am going to be doing my honeydew list stuff. So I'll announce it on Monday. I will be here all next week, but the week of the 19th, y'all are going to have a guest for the live show. Mr. Ron Siegel, radio host, is going to do me the huge favor of hosting the lives for the week. I am going on a motorcycle trip with my wife. It'll end up being 10 days, but with weekends in there. So we got Memorial Day weekend on the 26th. So I'm going to take the 19th. I'm going from the 17th, which is a Saturday, coming home the 26th. So that looks, is that 10 days? I think so, right? 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's 10 days. So I'm going to have somebody filling in for my written lock advice. And my team will be sending out the text alerts. They may be a little different than normal, may not be as robust as normal because I won't be writing them, but I am going away for an entire week. So this weekend, just got to make sure all the ducks are in order here at the house and make sure everything's okay. So that when my wife and I go away, my mother-in-law will be here. And so I'll make sure the generator is good. I'll make sure that there's plenty of propane. All the stuff just to make sure. But I'll be doing some honeydew list stuff. Possibly working on the kitchen. Got some more to do on that. Got some new stuff being delivered. I'm going to be moving some of the cabinets and adding some space. But what are y'all doing this weekend? What do you guys got planned? Mike Tebow's going to be cutting grass. Do you like cutting grass, man? I don't. It's not my scene. I don't have any grass, so we weed eat. I have to do some weed eating and some maintenance, but it's usually trees, brush hogging, weed eating kind of thing. I don't have any grass. Christy, thank you. Yes, I'm excited. I haven't had an unplugged vacation in literally in years, and that's not my style. I used to take a couple of unplugged vacations every year, and the last few years have been so busy, and then I just didn't prioritize it because I take a lot of time. You guys know that I travel a lot, but I usually take y'all with me and we chat. But this time around, I just want to get away, recharge. So 11 acres, dude. Do you have like a zero? I hope you have a fast zero turn for that one. Lisa, good morning. Yeah. Yep. You'll be next. Jerry, watching the Thunderbolts with the family. Oh, back issues, dude. That sucks. I hope you feel better, man. Stretch your hips. I don't want to be another guy telling you, but I'll tell you, I have back issues, constantly stretching the hips, strengthening the core. I'm fat, but I have a strong core. Yasmin, happy Mother's Day brunch with your girls. Oh, all the mothers out there, please. Yes. Happy Mother's Day. Dumbass me, totally forgetting about that. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope you all have a fantastic day. We appreciate you. We don't need Hallmark to tell us that we appreciate you. We appreciate you every day of the year. So, all right, my friends. Well, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully keep fingers crossed that Monday rates are a little bit better. I don't think we have risk of seeing a lot of negativity from the China thing, but it is possible. But I would be floating. I should have probably threw that up on the screen a little while ago, but let me find my captions. I would absolutely be floating unless strongly risk averse in closing. And then, in the next 2 weeks, I wouldn't lock anything. Even if we see some negativity, we'll bounce back from it. Rates are very much in that standard area that we've grown used to. So, Randy said, hope that's a comfortable seat with multiple foot peg positions for both me and the passenger, my friend. It sure is. So yeah. And I'll be, when I do summer camp, I will be riding to summer camp as well, dude. I'll leave on the 13th and get there the 15th. I'll take a couple of days. I'm looking at my calendar, and then I'll take a couple of days to ride home. So I'll be looking forward to that too. So every year when we've had summer camp, and I ride my motorcycle. So, all right, y'all. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. Have a fantastic day. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day. Now go to work.